Gus and Rachel, as a storytelling matter, how did you handle context and the bigger statistical picture of which Johanna's story was a part? What did you decide to do about that?
I mean, we didn't want to bog down the story with a lot of numbers because we didn't think it needed it. But we did feel a responsibility to let people know, how often things like this happen. This story came 6 months after we had already written a bunch of stories right after Johanna was shot. So people already knew that that the justice system had failed her by letting her ex-boyfriend out of the juvenile jail and never calling her and letting her knowing he was out, at ignoring her repeated calls to the police after he was out and telling her there was nothing that they could do. So we'd done a lot of stories like that, but we did include in a lot of the pages and a lot of the stories information on where people could get help. And so we didn't want to do statistics, 1 in every X amount of girls is shot or 1 in every X amount of teenage girls is raped, but we did have boxes with that information. But I don't know that we thought that it really belonged in the story at hand. But we know that telling the story the way it did work because we later went and talked to some people that we worked with from the Domestic Violence Center in Cleveland and the Rape Crisis Center in Cleveland, who fielded calls. And during the 9 days the story ran and the 20 days after, their calls increased twofold to both of those centers. Many of them from young people, but also many of them from older people who had never disclosed something and just needed to talk to somebody. And Johanna herself people went and found her on MySpace and started telling her their stories and saying, this happened to me too. So I mean, we knew that message got out there without using numbers and statistics because people can hear those a million times and you forget them 5 minutes later.